This conference will now be recorded.
All right. So, are you guys able to see my desktop?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, nice. So, today, what we're gonna discuss about how to download the Java and how to install it, isn't it? And then we'll discuss about the Selenium, what Selenium and how it is, and also we will see how to download the Eclipse. Yeah, so IDE. So we need IDE to write our code. So we'll see how to download it, how to install it, and then we'll have some introduction about the Selenium. Yeah. So as we are working with the Java, so first we need to download the Java and then IDE. So for that, what you need to do is you just need to go to Google and then say download JDK 1.8. Yeah, so as 1.8 is a stable version. Yeah, so we are going to use the JDK 1.8. So what JDK stands for? Java Development Kit, and 1.8 is the version of it, isn't it? So it's a Java Development Kit. So we're going to download it and then we'll install it. Yeah, so just click on the very first URL, and this the Java is been provided by the Oracle. So we make sure, right? So you'll be hitting this URL. Yeah, so www.oracle.com, isn't it? So that is what the Oracle is the one who is providing us a Java. Yeah, the JDK, isn't it? So just click on it, this URL, and then you will be able to get this page. Just scroll down and you'll be able to see the Java SE development kit, isn't it? So what you need to do over here, so you'll be able to see a different versions available, isn't it? The product and then the so the JRE files which you can download, isn't it? So based on your system, right? Based on your operating system which you are using, you can download that particular JDK. So these all are for the Linux system. If you are having the Linux operating system there with you, so you need to go for the Linux, a different version of the Linux. If we have Mac OS, isn't it? So you can go ahead with this particular JDK. If you are having Solaris, so you need to have this JDK. Windows, and if you're having the Windows, you need to go with this thing. Again, we need to check whether which window you have. So do you have the Windows 32-bit or the 64-bit, isn't it? So if you're having the Windows 32-bit, go with this particular file. Yeah, this exe file. And if you're having Windows 64-bit, go with this particular exe file, isn't it? So how you can make sure, right? So which operating system, yeah, which uh, the Windows bit you are using. Yeah, so what you need to do is just go to your uh, this PC icon. Yeah, so in your computer or desktop, yeah, so you might be having this PC icon. So go to C drive, and over here you'll be able to see this thing. Yeah, or just go to this PC, right click and properties. So over here you'll be able to see the configuration of your system. Yeah, so the the RAM and which operating system you are using. So it's 64-bit. You can see x64 base processor, isn't it? So you'll be able to you'll be sure about from here. Yeah, so which the operating system your machine is using, isn't it? So it's 64-bit operating system, isn't it? And this is what the Windows 10, isn't it? So what you need to do is, so you need to go for this Windows 6 x64-bit, isn't it? So just download this JDK. Yeah, so when you're downloading this JDK, it will gonna ask you about your credentials. Yeah, so it will ask you to log in. So what you can do is just create your account over here. Yeah, just enter your email address, first name and last name, and create the password, isn't it? So it is that much pretty straightforward. I do have my account over here, so I'll direct enter my credentials and click on the sign in button. So as soon as I'm able to sign in, it will start downloading that JDK file. See, it has been started downloading this JDK file for me, isn't it? So what you need to do is you just need to create an account, yeah. And after creating your account, just try to search the JDK and try to download it. It will allow you to download the JDK. Yeah. So once this JDK is downloaded, yeah, so you'll be able to see it in your download section. Yeah. And after download, what you need to do is you just need to copy that and create a folder in your desktop anywhere. Yeah, so the location which you are using, so I am having this folder there with me, and what I did, I created one folder over here called as softwares. Yeah, so that I can have everything over here, isn't it? So if you're looking at, I do have this JDK file available over here which I downloaded sometime back, isn't it? So once the JDK has been downloaded, you just need to copy that JDK and keep at some, the in some particular folder from where you can easily access this, right? So time being, I don't need. I'll pause this, yeah, because I already have this JDK there with me, isn't it? So once you downloaded the JDK, right? So what you need to do is you just need to double click it and it will start the installation of Java on your system, isn't it? So you just need to say yes to this and go with clicking on SSS option, isn't it? So as the Java is already installed in my machine, so I'm not going to do it right away. Yeah, but what you need to do is you just need to click this option yes and continue with that SSS option, isn't it? And at the end, you'll be able to get the message saying Java is successfully installed on your system, isn't it? That is what how you can download and install the Java in your machine. Yeah, and now how we will be confirm about the Java has been installed in our machine or not, isn't it? So for that, what you can do, just go to your C drive and in your program files, isn't it? And in your program files, you will be able to see a Java folder has been created, isn't it? And in that Java folder, you'll be able to see these two folders, JDK 1.8, which was our version, and the JRE 1.8. Yeah, so you'll be able to see the Java folder in your program files and two subfolders in it. Yeah, if you are not able to see this folder in your program files, then what you can do, just cross check under these program files x86, you might be able to see it here, isn't it? With the same stuff, isn't it? Same Java folder, and under that you'll be able to see the two subfolders. Yeah, that is what you need to make sure of. Yeah, so either you'll be able to see it in program files or second program files in your system. Just cross check it once whether you got that particular folder over here or not, isn't it? So once you get this folder over here, that means the Java has been successfully installed in your system, isn't it? That is what the confirmation. All right, that's there. So the next thing what you need to do is, so in order to make it active, or in order to use this Java, the install Java, right? So what we need to do is we need to set up the environment variable for it, isn't it? So how do I do it? So to set up the environment variable, how can I go ahead and do it? So again, go to this particular area, this PC, right click, go on property. Over here you'll be able to see the advanced system settings option, isn't it? So click on that and this window will open up, isn't it? Pop up system properties. Yeah, so over here just click on the environment variables. Yeah, and this is what your environment variables are, isn't it? So what you need to do is in your system variables, this particular window, you need to create a new variable. So over here you will be able to see the different option. So what you need to do is just click on new and type over here Java underscore home. Yeah, that is what your variable name and the variable value. So what is my variable value now? So what I need to do is, in order to get the variable value, I'll be going over here where my Java has been installed. Yeah, so I need to go till this thing, till my JDK path, and just copy this path copy this path and paste it over here in the variable values, isn't it? So Java Home copy this path, uh, right, the complete part of JDK, and paste it over here. Yeah, and then click on OK button. So as soon as you click on the OK button, you'll be able to see a variable something like this. Yeah, the Java Home and the value in it, isn't it? So once this is done, the next thing what you need to do is just search for the path variable. Yeah, so if you just scroll down, you'll be able to see a path variable over here, isn't it? And over here what you need to do is you just need to edit it. Yeah, and after editing it, if you click on edit, you again need to uh, click on the new button, and at the end what you need to do is you need to add this particular variable, the Java variable which we created. Yeah, so over here what you can do is just write percentage your Java underscore home, the variable which we created, and then slash bin. That is what you need to write. So what this bin stands for, so if you go over here in my JDK under this path, you will be having a bin folder over here. See, a bin folder. So this bin stands for the binary files. See, all binary files are here, isn't it? So you need to specify this particular path over there. Yeah, so over here you need to specify this path. Yeah, so as I already have this Java home bin over here, so I'm not going to save this at the moment, but yes, this is what how you need to do, isn't it? And once it is done, then say okay, okay, okay. Yeah, so once this is done, and like once you set up all this stuff, yeah, once you created the variable, so what you need to do is then go on your open your command prompt, type cmd. Yeah, so your command prompt will be open. Yeah, and over here what you need to do is type java hyphen version. So as soon as you type java version and press enter, you'll be able to get this message. Yeah, see, the Java version is 1.8.0 underscore 291. Yeah, that is what the version of the Java which we installed. So if you looked at over here, so that is what the our Java version is, isn't it? And then the JRE environment 1.8 and so and so. So you will be able to get this message. So if you got this message, that means Java is successfully configured in your machine, isn't it? So installation is different thing, and after the installation we need to configure it. Yeah, so how do we configure? We need to uh, create its environment variable. That is what how we need to do it. Yeah, so this is what how you can download and then install and then configure the your Java in your system. So that is what how it is. Yeah, so any question guys over here?
Uh, Rahul, are we going to do this parallelly or we should do it after the
No.
class?
Yeah, please, you can do it after the class. Don't do it as of now. Yeah. So after
Okay,
the completion of the session, you can just go through the recording and do it over there. So that will be more easy for you, isn't it? Instead of doing it right
okay,
away. Yeah.
okay,
So
yeah.
that's there. All right. Now this is done. Yeah, so now what we can do is we'll see how to download the Eclipse and how to configure it. Yeah, so Eclipse is nothing but an IDE. Yeah, so we need a IDE to to write the code, isn't it? So what I can say, I'll go over here and I can say download Eclipse for Windows 10. So this is what the Eclipse. Yeah, so we will be getting this URL www.eclipse.org. Yeah, and then this is what is official URL. Yeah, so what we need is we need Eclipse IDE for the Java developers. Yeah, so we need this IDE. So what this IDE stands for, it is integrated development environment. Yeah, that is what this IDE mean, isn't it? So what is integrated development environment means? So this IDE is having some functionality in it, isn't it? So we don't need to remember the syntax, or we don't need to remember the error. So this IDE, what it is doing is, so when you are typing, when you are writing code, and if you miss any syntax, it will give you a suggestion, isn't it? Or it is going to show you an error message, isn't it? So based on that suggestion and based on that error, we can correct our the program, isn't it? So that is what the smartness this ID is having. So we do have many IDs available in the market. Yeah. So the Eclipse is more widely and used. So if you scroll down, so we do have a number of IDs available over here. Say Eclipse, IntelliJ, NetBeans, Microsoft Visual Studio, Android, so Atom. So there are a number of the IDs available in the market. There are so many IDs available in the market, isn't it? See, looked at a number of IDs available. So why Eclipse is we are using? So Eclipse is more widely used and it is very user friendly, isn't it? So wherever you go, most 80% of the organization are using the Eclipse for their uh, uh, Java execution purpose or writing the Java program, isn't it? So that is what how it is. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is, so I'll go over here and then I'll just click on this URL Eclipse IDE for the Java developer, isn't it? So I'll go over here. So I'll go. So it's giving me some version called as Helios, isn't it? So if you want some particular version, so over here I can go to the releases, and over here I can see a different versions available. Yeah. So there are a number of versions available. So I'm using the Photon. Yeah, that is what the ID I'm using. Yeah. So we do have the latest ID also in the market available. Yeah, but those are not that much stable as of now. Yeah, and they do have the multiple features integrated in it. Yeah. So if we are using those ID, so we may miss how to integrate this thing with the IDE. So while we are downloading this Photon, so we will be learning how to integrate the different ID, how to integrate the different APIs with this particular IDE, isn't it? So we're gonna integrate the test ng, we're gonna do it, we're gonna integrate the Maven, isn't it? So or in this particular ID, so this has been already integrated, isn't it? So we may miss it, isn't it? We may not know the core part how we can go ahead and integrate it. So instead I'm going to go and download the Photon, and then over there we'll see how we can go ahead and integrate it. So I'll click on this package and I'll be able to get this URL, this link, isn't it? So Eclipse IDE for the Java EE developers, and then based on my Windows machine or Mac machine or the Linux machine, I'll be able to download. I'm going to download that particular IDE. So if my window is 32-bit, I'll go for it. If it is 64-bit, I'll go for it, isn't it? So you just need to download it. And again, so once you downloaded this Eclipse, again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and save it in my softwares. Yeah. So as I created one folder over here, so I'm going to go here and I'll save it in my softwares. So it will come up as a zip file. You just need to unzip it, and then you'll be able to see the Eclipse over here. Yeah. So you'll be able to see something like this, some folder structures of Eclipse over here. Yeah. So you can launch the Eclipse directly from here. So that is what you need to do, is you don't need to install or you don't need to do anything. Just download it and keep it at any particular folder, and then the Eclipse is ready to use. It's a plug and play utility. Yeah. So you don't need to install or you don't need to do anything for it, isn't it? So once you download it, just extract it, right, and then go ahead and use the Eclipse. So if I click on this icon, it will gonna launch the Eclipse for me. Yeah. So what I'm doing is, so instead of coming everywhere every time over here, so I'll just right click on this icon, and then I'll gonna create is shortcut on my desktop. So send to, I'll say desktop. So it's gonna create a shortcut on my desktop, so that I'll be having the Eclipse on my desktop. Yeah, something like this, and then I can use it as and when I require, right? So instead of every time going into this folder and browsing over here, right, so it's good idea I can create a shortcut on my desktop, and then I can use it, isn't it? So this is what how we need to do is how we need to download and then uh, create the shortcut for the Eclipse, isn't it? So what next? So let me click on it. Yeah, so for Eclipse Photon and Eclipse, this is what the second Eclipse I do here. So what I'm gonna do is I'll create click on this Eclipse. Yeah, so the shortcut. So when you click on this Eclipse, so you will be able to get this window, yeah, the pop-up window, isn't it? So it will gonna ask you for the workspace, yeah. So what this workspace means? So workspace means a folder is asking you for any location on your machine where the Eclipse gonna store all its configuration, basic configuration, and then after that, whenever you write some program in it, it will gonna store all those program into that particular folder. That is what the location it is asking for. Yeah, so it will gonna ask you for the workspace. So what I can do is I'll just go ahead and I'll click create one folder called as workspace. I already have it. So the workspace, and then over here what I did, I created some different workspace called as workspace Photon and workspace Helios, just for our understanding. So workspace Helios is there, isn't it? So uh, let me delete this thing. And so let's take an example. I created this folder called as workspace Helios, isn't it? And then this folder is as of now empty. What I can do is I'll copy this path and I'll go over here where the Eclipse is asking for you know the path over here. Yeah, so I'll copy and I'll paste this path over here. Yeah, and then I'll say you can check this checkbox, right? Use this as a default and don't do not ask again. So if you check this checkbox, it will not gonna ask you this path again, it will take it as is. Yeah, by default it's gonna launch this particular uh, uh, it will gonna use this particular workspace, isn't it? And then I'll say okay. So once I say okay, so Eclipse will start, Eclipse will launch. Yeah. So Eclipse will gonna start configuring itself. Yeah, and then it will gonna launch. So see, this is what the basic, the very first look of Eclipse, isn't it? And if I just looked at this particular workspace, see it has created one dot a metadata folder over here. So it has did the configuration that it configured itself over there. Yeah, so don't ever touch this folder dot metadata. So if you delete it by mistake, or if you change some files over here, so your Eclipse configuration may disturb, isn't it? So don't ever touch this particular folder, isn't it? All right, so we got Eclipse, and this is what very first look of Eclipse, isn't it? The welcome window. And then I'll just go and close this welcome window, and this is what the area where uh, we got, isn't it? So as of now, the Eclipse is divided into the four parts. If you are able to see, we do have the four separate sections over here, isn't it? So this is first section, second section, third section, and this is what the fourth section. So this first section is called as the Project Explorer, isn't it? So whenever we create a new project, that will coming over here. Yeah, so that is what the Project Explorer, and this window is something where we're gonna write a code, a source code, isn't it? So this is for the coding purpose. Yeah, and when we debug the code, so this is what the window where we'll be getting the information when our code is running, isn't it? The parameters, the variables, isn't it? The internal process, we'll be able to get the internal process notification and how it is running under this particular window. And this is what the area where we will be getting the output of our the program which we will be running, isn't it? The console output, we'll be able to get that console output under this particular section, isn't it? Right. So this is what the four major part of our Eclipse. Yeah, so which we'll be able to see over here, isn't it? So now this is what how it is. So what we can do is we'll just try to create one simple program like the project under the Eclipse, and then we'll see how it is, isn't it? So for that, what I can do, I can just go to file, I'll say new, and I can write over here. I can see the option called as project, and over here you'll be able to get this window. Yeah, and I can say uh, in general we'll be able to see the projects. Yes, we're gonna create the Java project over here. Yeah, so I selected the Java. I'll say next. Yeah, and then what you need to do is you just need to type the project name. So what I can do, I'll write over here something called as test project. uh, that is what the thing you need to do, and rest keep it as is, and then say finish. So it is gonna create a Java project for you over here. Yeah, so it has created the project. You can see a Java project. Yeah, so as soon as we created the project, so this is what the project explorer area, isn't it, where we'll be able to get our project. Yeah, and see if we got some error, so we'll be able to get some error over here. Yeah, so this is what the section or the area, the console, where we'll be able to get the output or something like that, isn't it? Right, the error or the output over here. Yeah, and this is what the structure where we will be able to get the parameter values when we are running it. Yeah, so this is what the very first look of the Eclipse, how we can create a project and how we can go ahead with it. Yeah, so that is what the thing is all about. Yeah, so this is what the thing is. Yeah, so any question guys over here?
Nothing as such.
All right, so this is what the Eclipse and all those stuff. Yeah, so what I'm doing, I'm not using this Eclipse. Yeah, because it's pretty old version. Yeah, so it is not properly configured in my machine, isn't it? That's what I got this error as well over here, isn't it? So what we can do, I'm using this Eclipse Photon. That is what I mentioned, isn't it? So I'm using this Eclipse Photon. So I'm gonna create a project over here. Yeah, and then we'll go ahead, isn't it? So I'm gonna close this Eclipse. Yeah, and this is what the
Rahul,
uh,
I have one question. So
yeah,
do I
Abhijit.
need to, so we have already installed JDK. So do I need to download and install GRE separately?
No, you don't need to. So which version you downloaded? So
I have not
are you
downloaded yet. I'm just asking. You have just shown that we need to download the JDK. So is it enough, or we'll have to download and install GRE as well?
no. When we are installing the JDK, by default we will be able to get these two folders as we just saw, isn't it? So if you are installing this JDK 1.8, so by default we'll be able to get this. Sorry. So JDK and JRE. So by default we'll be able to get these two folders. So if you are installing some other version, so you may not be able to get these two folders. Yeah, the upgraded version of the JDK. So just go for 1.8. That is what the suitable and the stable Java version as of now. Yeah, just go for this JDK 1.8 and install it. You will be able to get these two folders, isn't it? So try with that. Yeah. All right. So I guess you might have installed some different version, isn't it? That's what you are not able to get this JRE folder over there.
Uh,
Yeah. So just uninstall it and try with this JDK 1.8. Yeah. So it's a more stable version as of now. All right. Uh, that's there. So what we're gonna do is over here we can create the a new program. Yeah. And then we'll learn about the Selenium. So how I can go ahead and do it? I can directly right click and I can say new, and I can say a project over here. That is first option. Second thing, I'll go over file, I'll say new. Again, I'll able to get a Java project over here, isn't it? So that's there. You can go ahead and create it. Yeah. So I'll say new. Say I'll say Java project. Yeah, and over here I can write something. Something I miss. I can specify my project name. Yeah. So so what we can do? Um, I'll writing something called as Selenium training B11, hasn't it? And if you noticed, it automatically picked up this Java 1.8, the JRE of 1.8, isn't it? You can see the JRE 1.8. So Java runtime environment. So what JRE stands for? Java runtime environment, and JDK stands for Java development kit, isn't it? So that is for the kit, and this is for the runtime environment, isn't it? So these are the two different stuff, isn't it? The long forms of it. So I'm gonna go and I'll say finish. So it will create a project for me, isn't it? So you can see it has created a Selenium training B11, and if I expand it, I'm able to see something over here. Yeah, the SRC folder and the JRE folder, JRE system libraries. So what it did, it picked up all the jar files which it needed, isn't it? It's pulled out all the libraries and jar files which it needed to execute the Java program, isn't it? So that's there. So it will gonna automatically pull out all the JRE files which it needed to run this particular project, isn't it? And this in SRC folder, we're gonna create or write, we're gonna create the different classes and we can write the program over here, isn't it? So this is what how we can create the new project in the Eclipse, and this is what the basic you know the folders which we'll be getting when we are creating the very first program, isn't it? So we make sure you always have this, the system libraries, JRE system libraries, when you create the folder, isn't it? So that is there, and we will be having the source folder, SRC. So SRC stands for the source folder. You always able to get, will be able to get these two folders, isn't it? So that is what, right, how we can create the program, right, how we can create the project into the Eclipse, isn't it? So this is what how we can download and then create, download, and there is no configuration. We just need to create the icon shortcut of the Eclipse into our desktop and then launch over there, right? After that we just need to create the workspace. So what is workspace? So workspace is nothing but, the folder or the area, right, where Eclipse will gonna store all the configuration. If you looked at under this workspace, right, Photon, I created this project, and if I go to workspace now, so I will be able to see a folder over there. Yeah, and if I go over here now, and if I go to my workspace Photon, I'll be able to see Selenium training B11, isn't it? This project has been created over here, isn't it? So is the what, the folder where Eclipse will gonna store all your programs and project, right, which you will be creating in your Eclipse. See, so whatever projects I'm having over here, the same project is here, isn't it? All source code it will be keeping over here, isn't it? So that is what how it is. All right. So this is what the workspace is all about. All right. So just try it out, like, just try to install it and create a simple program in it, simple project in it, isn't it? So that is what how it is. All right. Yeah. So the next thing what we're gonna discuss is now, so we're gonna discuss about what is Selenium, rather what is automation testing, isn't it? So anyone, what is automation testing? Any idea about what is automation testing is all about? Hmm.
Uh, generally we are doing the manual type of testing which consumes time. So automation
Mhm.
testing is to convert into it a script, and it will automatically run the uh, Windows based, browser based applications, and it will execute the same test cases that we have created manually, and it will save the man efforts.
That's true. That's true. So, like anything is called as automation, which reduce the human dependency. Anything, it can be anything, isn't it? So, if you looked at, so generally, right, in our day-to-day life, we saw the machineries, isn't it? So, which reduce the human efforts, isn't it? So that is what nothing but the automation. Yeah. So you like if you just day to day the bus or the vehicle, that is what nothing but the automation, the example of automation, isn't it? It reduces the human effort, isn't it? So there are a number of machineries available, if you looked at in your surrounding. So that all comes under the part of the automation, right? So which reduce the human dependencies, or which reduce the cost efficiency, or which reduce the time, isn't it? So that is what all comes under the area of the automation, isn't it? So you might have seen something, the road work, isn't it? When the construction is going on, there are heavy machineries called a JCB or something like that. Yeah, those are called up. Those are the part of the automation, isn't it? So the which is gonna save the labor cost, which is gonna save the time, and which is gonna save the money, isn't it? So that is what all comes under the part of the automation. All right. So, as a software tester, right, we do have the automation over here to reduce the human dependency, right, to reduce the cost, and ultimately to save the time, isn't it? So, the book's definition of the automation is what to reduce the redundancy of the work, isn't it? So, if you just go ahead and check what is software testing is all about, so you'll be able to get the n number of definitions for that. Yeah. So the book is definition, and there are n number of things going on. So that is there, isn't it? So why we need software testing and all those stuff, right? I'm not going to discuss about this because you guys pretty much know about it, isn't it? So what is software testing? This is what the book is definition. Yeah, software testing is a process used to identify the correctness, completeness, and the quality of the developed computer software, isn't it? So what it is meaning, the software testing is a process used to identify the correctness, completeness, and the quality of the developed computer softwares. Yeah, it includes a set of activities conducted with the intent of finding errors in software so that it could be corrected before the product in release, right, to the end user, isn't it? The software testing is very important, right, in terms of the IT, right, or any software, isn't it? So it is most important, right? So like such kind of incidents happen if there is a bug kind of here, a small bug can reduce to huge loss, isn't it? So whenever we are using the softwares, it is very important to test it, isn't it? Because it may injure, it may directly proportional to human life or the money, isn't it? That is what the two things when we are using the software, isn't it? The softwares, whenever we are using any XYZ software, they are proportional to the two lives, two things. One is your money and second is your life, isn't it? So if there is any error in your work, so either you lose your money, right, and or a life. That is what the thing is all about, isn't it? So it is very important to uh, taste and check its correctness, robustness, and the completeness of the software, isn't it? So that's what we do have the manual testing. And what is happening, right, if there is redundant work, kind of regression testing, yeah, so which we need to perform so many times. So that is what the general human tendency, we may got bored, or you may say, yeah, this is what it is working here. So we are just neglecting it, all right? So it is correctness, right? So we are just neglecting it to the correctness of the application. We are saying, yeah, I tested it last time, it is working fine, so abhi bhi ye sahi hoga. That is what the general human tendency when we are doing the redundant work, isn't it? But if we ask the machine to do it, so machine is not have no having any feeling, doesn't have any feeling, isn't it? It will gonna do or taste each and everything as per the instruction you provided, isn't it? That's what. So it is very effective when we use the automation testing in our kind of the work which is redundant, to use the automation testing to reduce the redundancy of the work. It is most effective over there, isn't it? So when we perform the regression testing, to use the automation over there, isn't it? So that is what the thing is about the automation. Yeah. So anything which reduce the human efforts and the redundancy, that comes under the automation testing. All right. So the next thing, the selenium. Why then selenium? Why not any other? Yeah. And what is selenium testing? Right. So what is selenium testing and why selenium? So what is selenium is about? Selenium is an open source automation tool. So everyone is saying, the Selenium is the automation tool, isn't it? So we'll see about it whether Selenium is a tool or not. Yeah. So what it is saying is, right? If I go over here, the official website of the Selenium. Yeah. So if we go over here, yeah. Um, so this is what the official website of the Selenium. By the way, guys, I was gonna share this thing with you, this URL with you. So where, like from where you can directly go ahead and download the Eclipse. Yeah, I'll ping it into the chat box. You can take it from there right away, isn't it? That is in your chat box. You might have got some pop-up or the red icon over there. So this is the link from where you can directly download the Eclipse. Yeah, based on your system configuration. All right. Java, how we can go ahead and download it, and this is for the Eclipse, and this is for the official website of the Selenium. Let me ping you this URL as well. You can take it from your chat box. Yeah. So this is what the official URL. Yeah. So of the Selenium, and this is what the definition of the Selenium, saying Selenium automates the browser. That's it. This is what the simple definition has been provided on the official URL of the Selenium, isn't it? Nothing else, isn't it? So what Selenium is it? The Selenium automates browser. That is what the only definition of the Selenium over here. Yeah. So again, it's saying what you do with that power is entirely up to you. So Selenium automates the browser. Then what you want to do with that power is entirely up to you. Yeah. So that is what the stuff is all about. Yeah. This is what the simple definition of the Selenium is: automate the browser. That's the only thing. And what Selenium is? Selenium is nothing but an API. Yeah. So what is API? So API is application programming interface. Yeah. So API stands for application programming interface. Yeah. So Selenium, what is Selenium? Selenium automates browser. Yeah. So Selenium, whenever someone is asking you what is Selenium, so very first thing you can say that Selenium is an API which used to automate the browser. That's the only thing, nothing else. Yeah. So don't ever go, if you are going for the interview and if you're saying Selenium is an automation tool, so that is something which is the wrong answer, isn't it? So don't ever say a Selenium is a tool. Say a Selenium is an API which used to automate the browser. Yeah. Or Selenium is automates the browser. That's the only answer you can give whenever you someone is asking you what is Selenium, isn't it? That's the only stuff. All right. So why Selenium? Why Selenium? Yeah. So reason being, Selenium supports the multiple language, isn't it? So if I go over here, so if you looked at, yeah, and if I just go to this download section, yeah, of official URL, I'll be able to see a different languages over here. Yeah, C Sharp, Ruby, Java, Python, and JavaScript. Yeah. So these are the languages to which Selenium is supporting as of now, the 5 different languages, isn't it? So this is pretty old document, isn't it? So so as of now is supporting C Sharp, yeah, Java, Ruby, Python, and uh, the JavaScript as well. isn't it? These are the five languages for to which it is supporting, isn't it? And the browsers, it is supporting all the browsers: IE, Firefox, Chrome, Safari, Opera. Yeah. So if I just go over here and if I looked at the browsers, see, Firefox, IE, Safari, Opera, Safari, Opera, Chrome, and Edge is also there, isn't it? The new browser, right? So you might know, so Microsoft has stopped supporting the IE now, isn't it? So we need to migrate towards the Edge browser, isn't it? So that is what, the browsers which is supporting is Firefox, IE, Safari, Opera, Chrome, and the Edge, isn't it? And that is what it is, right? Which is supporting to the browsers. And if I go for the operating system, so this is what all three operating system which Selenium is supporting. So Microsoft Office, Mac OS, and the Linux, isn't it? So that's what we do have this platform independent use of the Selenium. That's why Selenium is so popular. And on the top of that, it's open source, freely available, isn't it? That's what Selenium is so popular, isn't it? It can be it like whatever Selenium is supporting, right? So you can either you work on the Mac, the Linux or the Windows, or if you are familiar with any of this browser, or if you are familiar with any of this language, you can go ahead and use the Selenium, right? That is what the huge accessibility has been given by the Selenium. That's what Selenium is so popular, isn't it? So it's multi-language, multi-browser, multi-platform supported stuff, isn't it? Automation. That's what Selenium is so popular. We had a QTP, now it is called as UFT, right? So before the Selenium for the automation. So what was the limitations for that? So it was only working on the window and on the IE browser, and I was and like is I am what I'm saying, it was supporting to the JavaScript language, isn't it?
So
So that is what.
QTP was, I think it was supported by VB script. Was used.
Okay, so I, because I never work on the QTP, so okay, so it might be the VB script, isn't it? Yeah, not a JavaScript. Yeah, so VB script. All right. So that is what limitation of this QTP or UFT, isn't it? So only one language, one browser, and one OS. So what if I'm having another operating system, isn't it? It's of no use, isn't it? So we do have the multiple users across the world, and they have a choice, right? They might have the different OS, they might have the different browsers, so we cannot restrict anyone, isn't it? So like as of now, so we do have this the operating system, or we do have some other operating system, but yes, the Selenium supports this operating system, isn't it? So the use of the Selenium, so anyone can use the Selenium, those are having this particular the platforms, isn't it? So again, it's supporting to iOS and the Android as well, isn't it? So the Selenium is again supporting your Android and iOS devices, isn't it? So that is what the use of this particular uh, Selenium. That's what is most widely used, isn't it? So that is what how it is. So what Selenium, how Selenium, and why Selenium, isn't it? So what is the major stuff is, right? If I go over here the official website, yeah. So the Selenium is again uh, comes under the different categories. Yeah. So if I go over here about the Selenium, so I'll be able to see, or let me refresh the page. Yeah, so this is what the very first look of the page. So you can see there are different options available. Yeah, Selenium WebDriver, Selenium ID, and the Selenium Grid. So these are the three different categories is been showing. So Selenium ID, this was very first we were using only on the Firefox. Yeah, so now it's saying so, and again, the Selenium ID is used for the simple record and the playback interaction of the browser, isn't it? So, I guess now they started the support on another browser as well. Yeah, the Chrome, Firefox, Edge, three browsers they are included. So previously it was only working for the Firefox. Yeah, so we can record a playback with the help of this Selenium IDE, isn't it? But this is use is very limited, isn't it? Selenium WebDriver is something which is fantastic to use, and this is what using in all the industry. Yeah, if you want to create a robust browser-based regression automation suite, see, and test, scale, and distribute a script across many environments, then you want to use this Selenium WebDriver, isn't it? It's directly given over here why where we need to use the Selenium WebDriver, isn't it? So if you want to create the robust browser-based regression automation suite and test, scale, and distribute the scripts across the many platform, that is what exactly we need to do, isn't it? And we need to use the Selenium WebDriver. Then you want to use the Selenium WebDriver, right? A collection of the language-specific binding to driver browser, isn't it? The way the mean the driver driven, isn't it? So this is what the Selenium WebDriver is, and we need to use this Selenium WebDriver, isn't it? Then again, a Selenium grid. If you want to scale by distributing and running the test on several machines, yes, and the manage multiple environments from a central point, isn't it? So what does it mean? Making it easy to run the test against a vast combination of the browser's OS, then you need to use the Selenium Grid. So what it is saying, like if you want to execute the Selenium test cases on multiple browsers and multiple operating system and multiple machines, isn't it? So you can use the Selenium Grid, isn't it? If I want to use your machine for the execution, isn't it? So I can create some central point. Yeah, I can create some master and slave or some center point and supporting machine mechanism, and then I can execute all the test case at my machine or your machine as well. Yeah, that is what the mechanism we can create over here. You can see the icon, yeah, something the master and then the two hub, isn't it? So we can create this hub and the relation, right? And we can execute these things. Yeah, so multi-platform and multi-mechanism, multiple machines and multiple browsers and multiple OS, isn't it? We can create that mechanism with the help of Selenium Grid, isn't it? So as of now we are interested into this Selenium WebDriver. Yeah, so we will learn about the Selenium WebDriver, isn't it? So this is something which no one is using in the market. Rather, real time on the real platform, right? We are not never going to use this Selenium IDE, isn't it? What we need to use is Selenium WebDriver, and this is something which is very rarely used. Yeah, Selenium Grid. But 90 what I can say that 97% or 98% with the thing which is used in the industry, which is Selenium WebDriver, isn't it? This is very rarely used. Yeah, Selenium WebDriver, Selenium Grid. All right, so we'll be learning about all stuff the we will learning all the things about the Selenium WebDriver, isn't it? So that is what the uh, small theory about the Selenium. Yeah, so if you want to go through and read it out, so you can go to the documentation part, and there is everything written over here. So if you want to go ahead and you can get more information about it, you can go over here. Yeah, or about this, yeah, about this documentation or about this, you will be able to get so many information over here. Yeah, so what it is, how it is. Yeah, so like it's a pretty good website, and you'll be able to get the much details over here. Yeah, so the small thing from my end, right? So this is what the thing is. Yeah, and if I go over here, yeah, so about the Selenium, if I just want to describe you. Yeah, so like it was started in the the Selenium was started about in the 2004, right? So this was the guy who tested internal application in the ThoughtWorks. So ThoughtWorks was the organization who has started writing the code or designing the Selenium. Yeah, so this is what where it has been started. Yeah, this was the organization. ThoughtWorks is the organization who is managing this particular Selenium WebDriver, isn't it? So like the yeah, so that is what the thing is. Yeah, so it's been designed in this particular organization, ThoughtWorks organization. Yeah, and then later on the new things has been inbuilt, and it's been designed, and there is something improvement, and right. So day by day is got improved, right? So initially it got IDE, then we got a Selenium remote control, Selenium RC, then we got the Selenium WebDriver, isn't it? So these are the different journeys of the Selenium, and then we got the Selenium Grid as well, isn't it? So these are the different journeys of Selenium, which has been started from 2004, isn't it? So these are documentation if you have interest, right, what it is, so you can just go to this website and read it out. So there it's been given over here, isn't it? So that is what how it is. And what we're gonna learn, we'll discuss about all this stuff, yeah. And we'll start the things, yeah. uh, all right. So as we mentioned, yeah, so Selenium is an um is not a tool, is an API. Yeah. So we'll discuss what this thing is about. Yeah. Why it is called as an API. Yeah. So what is thing is, right? So when we are working on the Selenium, what we need to work on the Selenium is, yeah. So if I go over here in the download section, and if you looked at, so we will be able to get the Selenium server, isn't it? So over here, in the Selenium server, if you are able to see, a latest Selenium version is saying, and it is something 3.141.59. So if I clicked on this, so I'll be able to get a jar file. You can see I'm able to get this jar file, isn't it? Selenium server standalone jar file, isn't it? And this is what the only thing which I'll be having when I want to work on the Selenium, isn't it? Right? So there is nothing installable. I don't want to install anything when I want to work on the Selenium, isn't it? What I install is only the core Java, isn't it? We just install the core Java, isn't it? And then Eclipse is the plug and play utility. Yeah. And in order to work with the Selenium, what I need is I need this jar file only, isn't it? I don't need any other, yeah, other thing. So just download this jar file, Selenium server standalone jar file, and as I mentioned, yeah. So what you can do after the downloading this jar file, what you need to do is, just again copy it from this download section to the area where you are storing all your softwares, like I did, yeah. So I this is for the software, and then I created one another folder called as jar files, yeah. So here if I looked at, so I do have this jar file over here, isn't it? Selenium server standalone 3.141.59, isn't it? So you need to download and keep it at some particular place from where you can access it as and when required, isn't it? So that is what it all about, yeah. So Selenium is all about this jar file, isn't it? So there is nothing installable, you don't need to install anything in it, isn't it? So just download this jar file and keep at any particular safe place, right where it, from where you can access it as and when required. So that is what you need to download and keep it, yeah. So once you download it, and uh, this jar file, what you need to do is you need to import that jar file in your uh, Selenium project, in your project which we created, isn't it? So how do I do it? So just right click on it, this project, and then say build path, configure build path, and over here add external jar. Click on this option, yeah, and browse. This is what the you can browse over here and you'll be able to get this the map this why I'm getting it directly, because I already have that in my browser history, isn't it? So I can select this jar file, yeah. So it's been added over here, yeah. I'll say apply and close. So once I added this jar file, yeah, once I imported this jar file, I'll be able to get it something like this under the reference libraries section, isn't it? So Selenium server standalone jar, yeah, I got it from this particular location, isn't it? So like Biomat learn automation jar files, that's the first thing, yeah. So I got this Selenium server standalone jar, yeah. And what I need, the next thing is the browser, yeah. So if you looked at, I got this jar file, yeah. Then I got the language, yeah. So I did install the Java, so I do have this Java language there with me, right, which is been installed and configured in my in my machine. Second thing, I got this jar file to work with it. And third thing which I need is the internet, the browser, isn't it? So I will be needing the browser. I already have the OS. Yeah, I don't need to download and install the OS. I already have this particular Windows OS. Yeah. So what I need to do is, in order to interact or in order to work on the different browsers, I need to have the drivers for it. Yeah, I do have this, the browsers installed in my machine. I do have the Firefox, IE, Chrome, and the Edge driver, isn't it? Those are already there in my machine. So in order to interact with those browser, right? So Selenium is needing some drivers, isn't it? So what do you mean by driver? Anyone? Any idea? All right. So what driver means, right? So let's take an example. You bought a new pen drive, isn't it? So as soon as you plugged in your pen drive in your machine, right? Though it be a laptop or though it be desktop, you might have seen some small icon over here. Some process is going on, isn't it? And then after 2 or 3 seconds or max 5 seconds, you will be getting one pop-up message saying your device is ready to use, isn't it? Right. So that is something called as the installation of the driver. So what your operating system is doing, so your operating system is making connection, right? Making the connection with your the device which you just plugged in. So what it is doing is downloading the driver and trying to make connection with your the device which you plugged in, isn't it? So that is what the installation of the driver, that is what called it as a driver, isn't it? So in the same way, we would be needing some drivers to interact with our browsers, isn't it? Though it be Firefox, IE, Safari, Opera, Chrome, or the Edge, isn't it? So what you just need to do is just go over here and download it one by one, right? If you want to work on the different the browsers, isn't it? So I'll do it. I'll go for the Firefox, right? So it's a documentation. I'll open it, and as soon as I open it, so I got something called as the supported platforms. Yeah. So the Firefox driver, it is called as the Gecko driver, isn't it? And it's asking me for this particular version is compatible with the Selenium, right? The Selenium version greater than or equals to 3.11. So we do have 3.141 point something, right? There with us. Yeah. So we do have 3.14, 1.59. So we are good over here. Is greater than 3.11. And if I'm using Python, so it should be more than 3.14 version of the Python, isn't it? So yes, the jar file is okay. So Selenium is okay. And then the Firefox, right? So which Firefox version you are using? So minimum should be 60, isn't it? So we need to download that thing. So how do you check the Firefox version? So you might know it, right? Just launch your Firefox and go to settings and say about Firefox. So you'll be able to get the version of the Firefox. uh, Go to settings over here, go to settings, and do we have anything over here? See the version of the Firefox, is it in general information? Yeah, so it's 91 as of now, right? So that is what, so is minimum is required is 60, max is not applicable. So you can go ahead and download this particular Gecko version, which is compatible for my machine, the configuration. So I'll go over here. So right, so Gecko driver releases, I'll be having a different releases over here. You can see, so 2.29.1, right, and then is then point all the releases I'll be able to get over here. So which is compatible or the comfortable which for my system configuration is this one. Yeah. So I'll over here and just scroll down, and over here, right, I'll check for my machine. This is all for the Linux, this is for the Mac OS, this is if I'm having Windows 32, and this is for if I'm having Windows 64-bit operating system, isn't it? So I'll just download this Gecko driver. Yeah. So that is what I got my Gecko driver, which is gonna use to launch and interact with the Firefox, isn't it? That's done. So second is what, the Internet Explorer driver. Yeah. So I'll go ahead and check in the configuration if I get something. It's not there. what I can do, so if you just scroll up, so you'll be able to get it over here. So Internet Explorer driver server, isn't it? So it's been given over here, isn't it? So download the version. So which is you are having IE32 or 64 again, 64-bit operating system. Go ahead and download this, the IE driver, isn't it? So I got the IE driver as well. And then again I'll go ahead and check for, I do not have this Safari and Opera, I do have the Chrome. Yeah, so again I go to the documentation section and I'll download it for uh, the latest. I don't go for this beta version and all those stuff. Yeah, always check with the stable version, isn't it? So I'll go ahead and it's saying that this is what the stable version. I'll click on it. I got this something right. The Chrome driver again, Linux, Mac, and this is what for the Windows. So Chrome driver is something we are not having a 64-bit as of now, but this Chrome driver 32-bit is gonna work for both 32 and the 64-bit. So just download the Chrome driver 32-bit. So though your machine is 64, right, or 32, this is going to work for it. Yeah, so I downloaded the Chrome driver as well. And lastly, right, so what I can do, the Edge driver. Yeah, so if you are working on the Edge driver as well, so just go ahead and download the Edge driver as well, right? So whichever release you are using, right, the for the Edge driver, just check the version of your Edge driver and download it as per your the version, though it be 92, 94, 93. I guess I do have the 93. So I'll go ahead and again download the 93. See, this is for the Windows, Mac, and this is for the Linux. Yeah, so I do have the Windows 64. I'm gonna go ahead and download this Windows 64 bit. Yeah, so I do got all my drivers over here, isn't it? So in my download section, so again same story, I'm gonna copy this thing from here and paste it over here so that I'll be having it at one place. Yeah. So this is what all my drivers which I'll be getting into the zip file. I just need to unzip it and then I'll be able to get something like this, isn't it? Yeah. So when I unzip, I'll be able to get something like this. Yeah. So I'll created one folder called as drivers, and in that drivers I do have all these things there with me, isn't it? All right. So what next thing I need to do is I just need to copy this all four driver, copy it from here, go to your project and paste it. All right, I'll be able to get my drivers over here. Now we are ready. Yeah, we are ready to write the Selenium program, right? We are ready to write and go ahead and use the automate the browser, right? What we have is we do have the Java now, isn't it? So we do have the Java, we do got the Eclipse, isn't it? Like after that we do got this thing Selenium standalone jar file. Yeah, and after that we do got the drivers. Yeah, this is what all things which we need to work with the Selenium, isn't it? So this is what all softwares as of now we needed to work on the Selenium. Yeah, this is what how it is we can download, configure, install, right, and try to create the project in Eclipse and bind it, isn't it? So you need to add the external jar and then copy paste your drivers over here, isn't it? This is what how we can do it. So any question guys over here? So it is just kind of the configuration, isn't it? And now over here, yeah, so now over here we can go ahead and create our program, and then we can start creating our classes and then the object, and then we can go ahead and move, start writing our programs, isn't it? So yes, that is what how it is. So any question?
Nothing as such so far.
All right, all right. So that's fine. So what we can do is today we'll stop here only. Yeah. So because the next topics are rather too long, so whether I'm gonna explain you what is API, yeah. So that is gonna take at least a half hour, yeah, what it is and how it is. And again, if I'm starting with the classes and objects and all those concepts, that is again gonna be a long concept, isn't it? So this is for all the configuration. So what you can do, just try to download all these thing and try to create such kind of configuration in your machine, yeah. So once that is done, you are ready to use. So in next session, we'll learn about how to what is API actually, isn't it? What is API? How to create the API, isn't it? So how this Selenium jar file has been created, what it is, right? How it is, isn't it? We'll learn about it, right? So we'll create one jar file and we'll see its usage. And in the same line, the Selenium jar file is using, yeah. So we need to use the Selenium standalone jar file, isn't it? So we'll learn about it, why it is an API, yeah. And we'll start our programming from the next session. So that's all from my end, guys. So if you have any question, please go ahead. All right, no worries. So what you can do, just go through this recording, yeah, and then try to replicate same thing. Try to download all these things, all these softwares, at your machine, and configure it so that you should be ready for the next session, isn't it? Because in next session, like we'll be having some programming, and then you might get some assignment, isn't it? So be ready with that, yeah. Just practice it on. Just go through this recording, download all these things, and then configure in your system, isn't it? So that's all from my end. Thank you, guys. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Ravi.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
thanks,
you.
Rao.